Good morning. I often quote this saying by F B Meyer: faith thrives when God occupies the whole vision. So this idea that when God occupies our whole vision, when our whole focus of our internal thinking is on God, faith just naturally springs up, rather than gritting our teeth and trying to psych ourselves up into great faith. This just naturally springs up when we look at God for who He is, when we look at His characteristics, when we look at His attributes. And so we're called to be people that thrive, that don't just have a little faith, but have an exceedingly and abundantly expectant faith. And that happens when we look at God. And there's lots of different ways, and I've talked about different ways of doing that. But one of the ways I sometimes do that is just focusing in on a particular aspect or characteristic of God, or something that reveals who He is. And one of the easiest ways of doing that, for me anyhow, is just looking at creation. We see this in Psalm 19, where it says, how clearly the skies reveal God's glory, how plainly it shows what He has done. Each day announces it to the following day, each night repeats it to the next. No speech or words are used, no sound is heard, yet its message goes out to all the world and is heard to the ends of the earth. God made a home in the sky for the sun. It comes out in the morning like a happy bridegroom, like an athlete eager to run a race. It starts at one end of the sky and goes across the other. Nothing can hide from its heat. And there's other verses in the Bible that just talk about the way that creation declares who God is, His majesty, His glory, His power. And I think one of the ways to grow and allow our faith to thrive in any season, let alone this season, is beginning just to learn that discipline I'm learning, which is called slowing down. To take time to consider what is right before our noses, what is right above our heads, the sky, when you just look at it. Whether the sun is shining or you're just looking at the stars at the night, or the clouds rushing over or slowly drifting over. What's beneath our feet, the earth, we just take it for granted, we walk upon it. And even if I begin to reflect back on my geography days, and I can't remember all the different aspects, but it's made up of different spheres. And part of it's even liquid. It's just mind-blowing. We need to discover the discipline of slowing down, of considering these things. God's nature, God's creation, and actually begin to expand our hearts. Like a song which I used to sing as a child, and you might not be familiar with, which is, how great Thou art. And here's just a few lines from it. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds Thy hand has made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, Thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then it gets the chorus. It's like, once I look at these things, then sings my soul, my Saviour God, to Thee, how great Thou art, how great Thou art. And it repeats that line again. Then sings my soul, my Saviour God, to Thee, how great Thou art, how great Thou art. Then the second line says, when through the woods and forest glades I wander, and hear the birds swing sweetly in the trees, when I look down from lofty mountain grandeur and see the brook and feel the gentle breeze, then sings my soul, my Saviour God, to Thee, how great Thou art, how great Thou art. Then sings my soul, my Saviour God, to Thee, how great Thou art, how great Thou art. And I think this is a season where we need to learn to begin to slow down, to consider the creation around us, whether you live in an area where it's easy to do that or not. Even if it's just some flowers in a box outside your window if you live in a flat. Or you just see a tree in a distance surrounded by buildings. Or whether, like me, you can go into some fields or into some woods. Let's take some time to consider, to slow down, to look at that flower, to look at the petals, to look at the trees, to look at the leaves. And as we do that, our faith will begin to arise and thrive.